Hi, welcome to the A Face for Radio video series, our second episode of today. I'm going to speak with Pam Victor from Happier Valley Comedy, which in my previous show today I accidentally said Happier Valley Comedy Festival at least once because it has like a rhythm of like word festival or word company. Happier Valley Comedy is a wonderful name for anything, and I accidentally said festival, and for that I apologize. So, tomorrow's show is with Sam Anderson. We're going to speak with him about his new New York Times Magazine profile about Weird Al. That's tomorrow at 1 o'clock here on WAMC Radio's Instagram live feed. And I am going to let Pam in and get some happiness tips. Here we go. Hi.
Hi there, Sarah. Thanks for having me.
It's absolutely my pleasure. So right now, and this is a weird thing to know, but no one's watching us. Let's do something crazy.
Something so weird. Nobody will see it.
Flash. No, it'll be in our live story and I'll upload it to YouTube. So, and hopefully people will join. But as I was sitting here waiting to go on, I saw like John Hodgman is going live with Get Your Pets and Janelle Monáe is going live with somebody. And I was like, well, I mean, I don't know how we're really going to compete with that.
Maybe it's a different audience.
That's very, very true. Although there might be some overlap with Hodgman.
I'm used to doing shows for one person, so.
All right. So for the uninitiated, tell us the sort of mission statement of Happier Valley Comedy.
Happier Valley Comedy's mission is to spread laughter, joy, and ease to Western Mass and the world.
Just that little thing, happiness.
Yeah, and using the tenets of improvisation.
And how long have you been doing it there in Western Mass?
We've had a physical company open for, I think, 2 years. We just opened our actual theater in Hadley, Massachusetts. And I've been doing this company, I think, for 6 or 7 years. Something.
That seems right. That sounds right to me.
Yeah, I started it as an experiment to see if I could make a living doing what I love.
How's it going?
It turns out you can until there's a pandemic.
Yeah.
It's challenging.
Yeah. So tell us what you're comfortable sharing with people about where and how you're living during the pandemic, and then tell us, like, add on to the end of that story, what is going to have to happen with Happier Valley here.
Yeah. So where I'm living personally, in my home office, yeah, I am hunkered down with my family. I have 2 kids who are in their 20s. My older kid graduated from college and they were already living at home. So that was great. And my 21-year-old daughter is at Goucher College, but isn't physically there. So she's back home. My mom lives with us. I have a partner, dog, cat, assorted fish. So we're all at home. And like, that's what feels good to me. Like, I'm kind of one of those, I'm a mama bear. So it's like, as soon as my kids came home, I felt a lot better about it. I'm just glad, even though it's heartbreaking, particularly for my college age daughter, to be here.
Sure. Oh, of course.
And it's just really intense. But we're all home. I'm really quarantining pretty strictly. I'm not going anywhere.
Do you have a designated shopper of the household, or do you get mostly delivery?
Yes, we're doing delivery also, and there have been like some cool farms that deliver, or farm cooperatives, which is just fantastic. I went out. My older kid's birthday is April Fool's Day, so they don't really love cookies and cake or stuff like that, but love donuts, Atkins cider donuts. So
those are good. They're good.
They're hard. So I went out that time, and that's the last time actually I think I've been out. And it was so stressful that my husband's like, I'll take care of it.
Yeah. My husband and I go grocery shopping together. It's been once every 2.5-ish weeks, and like really, really stock up and just like not dangerously, but run through the store getting separate parts of the list and, then get home and disinfect everything and then put it all away.
My husband got so much stuff last time because like we really only want to go once a month or something like that.
Yeah.
That the person at the store said to him, how many families are you shopping for? You lied, right? And he's like, oh, yeah, I lied.
Yeah. Well, no, and we normally don't buy a ton of groceries because we don't like to waste food. So we buy like for what we need for a few days in case we end up out for dinner or making just like grilled cheese for a while or whatever before the pandemic. And I'm like, well, I guess we need 100 boxes of better cheddars and a lot of the vegetables that, don't go bad too quickly, and then meat in the freezer and everything. It's crazy.
It's intense.
Yeah. And that's really the least of it, because we are fortunate to be able to acquire the food. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We're very lucky to be able to stock up and stuff like that. I feel that is one of the many benefits, even though this pandemic has been really hard all over the place. I'm having really a deep gratitude and appreciation for all the gifts we do have. Absolutely.
So Happier Valley Comedy, you're going to have to go dark for a bit.
Going dark for a little while. So it's been such an interesting journey. On March 10th, my business partner, Scott Braidman, had his baby. His wife had his baby, which was...
Congratulations to them. Bizarre time, but mazel.
Right, exactly. Well, it was the last time I saw Scott, like in a regular face-to-face meeting. And he came in on Tuesday morning and was like, she's having contractions, but I think we could do our weekly meeting. I'm like, would you get out of here?
Yeah.
It was a fun day, and I ended up watching his 4-year-old daughter while they were having the baby. It was so much fun. And then he was on his paternity leave, and I had to call him. That was Tuesday. I called him on Friday and said, I'm sorry to bother you, but I've checked in with the board of directors, just so you know I'm closing down our company.
Right.
And so we closed the physical company. And then from that point forward, for the next month or so, I worked really, really hard to transition our company to see if it could work online. Even though, this is improvisation. It's so in person. It's so eyeball to eyeball. It's a team sport. It's an activity. It's all about connection. So I was like, I don't think I can do it. But then I started doing it anyway, even though that's what we practice in improvisation, that our beliefs aren't enough to make us not do something or take a risk.
Right.
So I tried it out, and it worked, and we're holding classes online for our students. We're holding professional and personal development workshops online, like the one that's coming up on Saturday. I've done keynote addresses remotely. I've done happier hours remotely. We've done shows. But the fact is, when it comes down to the bottom line, we cannot bring enough money in to pay our expenses remotely. Right. We're bringing in like 10 to 15%. So, so we just had to make a decision with the board that we were going to just suspend everything and furlough us, me and Scott, and just take a break, take the time to rejuvenate, I have a book that I'm working on, a couple books actually, so I'll be doing that. We'll see how long I can stay away. I don't know.
Right.
I still take a vacation, but I don't know that I can do really capable of that. I'll try.
But you're still going to do, we'll talk about Saturday's event, but you're also still going to do volunteer shows. Oh, it's in my notes here.
You're right. HVC, Happier Valley Comedy Live. That's our 8 p.m. show that's live streamed on YouTube every single night except Sunday at 8 p.m. Obviously, I said that. And that's a totally improvised improv show. Scott and I know most of the days he and I are going to show up. And then it's an open invitation to any cast member, any of our main stage cast members. We have 5 main stage casts. And so they all have an open invitation to show up. So we'll just be hanging out and we'll whoop, somebody pops up, whoop, somebody, and then we sort of like, oh, what do you want to do? So we just sort of decide what we're going to do. Other times we have certain shows that are set, like our cast Not in Charge is going to be performing, I think, on Friday. We also have our stand-up storytelling. That's twice a month. That's happening on Friday at 7 o'clock. What else do we have? Oh, we have a great show that I've really been enjoying called, and this show actually works better. I think it could only work on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And it's called HVC QVC, where we play these 4 QVC, these 2 dueling QVC channels, the Home and Country channel. They're very good girls. And I play Sarasota on the Mystique channel. And and we're at 3 a.m. That's our time slot for our show. And we're in quarantine, so we're selling stuff from around the house.
That sounds wonderful. I will check that out.
A lot of wine.
Awesome. That is wonderful. So this Saturday at 7 p.m., there's a personal growth remote workshop. Let's Get Happier, Habits and Practices for Prioritizing Happiness. Tell me about this.
So my title is Head of Happiness.
It's a cool title. It's much better than Senior Contributing Producer.
Well, one of the beauties of having your own company is your titles. So I'm Head of Happiness. And like in taking that title, I kind of did it out of a joke. And then I'm so excited about happiness. Like I've been studying it. It's absolutely thrilling, to me, at least. It's one of my values and life purposes is to facilitate happiness, laughter, growth, and connection with people. So this personal development workshop is one way of doing it. And I just saw a study, maybe it was the World Happiness Organization or something like that, with no surprise to anybody, but the happiness index has gone way down globally.
Has it?
Yeah, I know. Shocking. I know.
It's dropping.
Breaking story here.
What if it went up? Ooh, that would mean everybody is a sociopath.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of just some people.
Some people, right. Some people living in the White House. Yes, we are going to, I want to help people have more happiness. So in this workshop, it's an hour and a half. We're going to get together and I'm going to go through these top 20 happiness practices. And we'll try some of them out. I'll explain some of them. I'll give the science behind some of them because many of them are scientifically proven to increase happiness based on studies. And then at the end, everybody is going to create their own happiness practice. So they can do a 30-day happiness challenge experiment. So take 1, 2, or 3 different of these practices that really appeals to them and sort of commit to doing it every day for a month and just see how it goes.
Can you give us a preview? Can you share with us some happiness tips?
Ooh, a freebie. Okay.
You don't have to.
No, absolutely. I'm happy to do it. No, I'll tell you all of them. I don't care because I want everybody to be happy. So the biggie, the first 3 of them have to do with gratitude. So that won't surprise you. I start every single one of my class with I call, let's give your gratitude. So whatever you're grateful for, something big, small, or otherwise. So like the number 1 on my list is the gratitude 5. So wake up every morning and name 5 things you're grateful for. Without judging what they are, big, small, it could be a classic like friends and family. It could be one that's like more, I had somebody who was like, I'm grateful for this piece of gum,
Yeah, sure. I was thinking jelly beans. Starburst jelly beans.
Jelly beans is a great one, Sarah. You could say it out loud. You could write it down, anything at all. But that is one of the happiness practices. Gratitude of many of the happiness practices is the one that the most science is behind it.
Okay.
So that's one. There's another one. You could take a walk and notice 10 beautiful things. So every day, take a walk, notice 10 beautiful things. A lot of it is about being intentional on your day and making an intention to notice happiness. Because if we look for happiness, we're going to find happiness. And if we look for episodes and examples of not happiness, we're going to find that too.
But even if we're looking for happiness, there are going to be episodes of, true despair, grief, and tragedy.
Absolutely.
What do you as head of happiness do with that? Do you permit it, or what happens? How do you deal with it?
Yes, I mean, and that's one of them. And so I'm also going to talk about it at the workshop on Saturday. Feel the feels, right? So a happiness mindset. There are certain mindsets for happiness, and one is this idea of acceptance and agreement to follow the joy and ease, which are like these big core values of Happier Valley Comedy, but also this idea of feel the feels. So yes, I believe you absolutely should feel the hard feelings, be with them, notice them. But my practice is to commit a proportional amount of time to those feelings. So if I'm stewing in them, I'm helping nobody. Right. So climate change, there are a lot of feelings we can be having and should be having in conversations about climate change. Should I be despairing about it 24/7? I'm not helping anybody. So the focus is to think about them, feel these feelings deeply. And there are all these, I'm going to talk about some meditation practices. Tara Brach is fantastic. If you don't know her, she does this thing called RAIN, RAIN, and it's all about feeling the feelings. And we're going to practice that. And then once you've felt those feelings, what do we learn from it? How can we move forward together with positivity? To me, I use the improv tenets all the time. And my definition of improvisation is acceptance of the reality of the moment. Acceptance and the agreement to move forward together with positivity. Given this reality, our world's in crisis, how can we move forward together with positivity? So it's kind of like the Mr. Rogers quote that we're looking at more and more. And Mr. Rogers was an amazing example of looking at the light when other people looked at the shadow, right?
Yeah,
he talks
definitely.
about at the helpers, right?
Right, absolutely.
Look for the helpers. So it's that kind of mindset that I find helpful, for me at least.
So I would like you to talk more about what it is about improv and searching for happiness and doing live performances that fulfills you. Like truly like dig in and tell us what it is that it has made you commit your life to this.
Well, did you watch My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Yeah.
Do you remember the father about Windex?
No, I saw it in the theater and not since then. So I should have almost said that instead of yeah. but I liked it and I will watch it again.
Oh, it's so good. It actually stands up. It's one of those movies that stands up. But the father thought Windex cured everything.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then Boon's cake. That has nothing to do with it, but it was funny. Boon's cake. But anyways, so the way that father thinks about Windex is how I think about improvisation. I actually think improvisation cures everything. And it was one of those things. And I just, like, if you've ever done improv or when this is not uncommon experience that the first time you do improv and the heavens kind of open up and you hear the angels sing and you're like, this is it, right? So some of us have that experience, and I was one of those people. So what isn't it about improvisation that I love? I love that it is a guidepost for life. Like I can do it and have kicks and talk about poop jokes with my friends. Mm-hmm. And I love that every time I have a problem, I could turn to the tenets of improv and I have a guidepost for how to move forward with positivity. And like implies there's nothing in my life that improvisation hasn't helped.
That's amazing. I've heard a similar thing from, do you know Mark Evan Jackson? He's an actor and improviser. He's on a lot of things. You might recognize him if you looked him up, but he was on The Good Place. He played Sean on The Good Place, the Mike Schur show. Yeah. And then he hosted for NBC a podcast called The Good Place, the podcast that really dived deep into each episode of the show. It was like, it's very, very good podcast, but he's also an improviser and he talks all the time about how everybody should try improv. There's like, not everybody is going to record and produce improv specials for Netflix like Ben Schwartz and Thomas Middleditch have just done, but it can help you in like any aspect of your life. And we have Mopco right here in Schenectady, but I want to, I will, but I just haven't done it yet because I love it so much. I love watching improv. Been to Improv Olympic and Second City in Chicago. Second City came to the Lake Placid Center for the Arts when I was in high school, and I was like, what is happening? I love the Christopher Guest movies. I'm like very into it. So I almost don't want to put myself in it because I like it so much, even though I like myself just fine. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, I say follow the joy and ease. I will say that most of my students are not interested in improvising on stage. Mm-hmm. Most of them do it because they say it's cheaper than therapy.
Yeah.
It's like this little time of your week that you just forget everything else and just focus. And like, I love also its connection. So when it's real life connection, usually that we don't get that much in life anymore. It's pure connection. In the Zen of Improv, the training is to support each other and to be of service to each other. So we both follow John Hodgman, huh?
Yes, we do. I thought I turned off notifications and I just there just keep being notifications. I've turned them off on my phone, in the app, in the WMC account, in my account. It's still just but did you want to watch John Hodgman interview pets? And I'm like, yeah, and I will later.
So yeah, and I also believe everybody can improvise.
Alrighty. So while you're home, when you're not performing, when you're not, scratching your joy itches by performing, are you watching anything, reading anything, listening to anything that you want to share with us?
Yes. Okay. So my quarantine guilty pleasure, if you will, something I didn't really watch before because I love TV. So like TV is the way I decompress at the end of the day. I hang out with
Hmm.
my family on the couch. And that's just kind of like one of my favorite things ever. The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon at home
Yeah,
has
he
been
has
one
a
of,
slide in his house.
oh, his house is ridiculous.
We must have money or something.
Come on, people.
It's
I mean,
wonderful though.
he kind of shoves it in our faces a bit, like just stay in one room and let us just have fun in one room. But no, we have to go to the art room and then the kitchen and then the front porch and oh my god, walk around the neighborhood. Yeah, I love it. It's it's what's pretty cool about comedy right now. It's getting pretty darn real. So like it's so accessible. So the work that we're putting out, which I don't think is like our finest quality, because I think you should see us in person, because improvisation is best, is a dish best served live and in person.
Hmm.
But I've seen Kristen Wiig put out their stuff that like yeah, I would hold our stuff up next to it, not because like we're so amazing, but that's the quality of work. Like it's so accessible, and I love that his kids are climbing all over him
Yeah.
while he's doing his show. Like that cracks me up. And that little girl, the small one, who's just like obviously so much like he was when he was little. She's such a clown, and it's just absolutely adorable. And I love that like zoomed freezes. I
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
love it.
definitely.
I love
No,
it.
it's very human, except for the amazing. Well, it's still human to have an amazing house, I guess.
Yes.
If you've been on NBC since he was so young,
3, yeah.
right?
And
Yeah.
his wife's in the business too. And I'm
Yes.
pretty sure Jimmy Fallon didn't decorate his house, but he's not being sexist. I don't
Oh, yeah, maybe.
know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just had input. I don't know. I don't know what the very wealthy do with their homes. Not. I don't have one idea about that.
I wouldn't to tell you that either.
Is there anything else you're watching you want to talk about?
Yeah. So there's other things that I've gone through. Of course, the marvelous Mrs. Maisel is just like, ugh, I love that. And I don't watch shows over and over,
Hmm.
but the Paris episodes just, I just love it. I just love it. The acting, the writing, it's all so good. We're geeks, so Picard was a fun excursion.
I
Jean
didn't see
Luc.
that. I didn't. What is it on? CBS All Access or something?
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't have that one. I'll probably have it before this is over, but I don't have it yet.
Buy it, watch it,
Sure.
and then cancel it, right?
Sure.
Uh, Unless CBS All Access is watching and would like to give me a lifetime supply.
Right. Never
I,
cancel.
I don't know I think this is on TBS. Better Things. Pamela
I don't.
Adlon.
Oh, right. Yeah. Better.
That
I always forget the name of shows that are like word, or movies that are like word. I'm like, it was either She's All That or She's Gotta Have It, or just like, I don't know what one this was. But yeah, Better Things. Let me look up what network that is on.
Here's another word that is just, these are a bunch of improvisers. Big Mouth. Have you
Yes.
improvised?
Sorry. Yes. Big Mouth is one of my favorite things. That is when I watch over and over and over again because there's so many jokes. They're so fast. And then there's like truly tremendously good songs. Plus, Maya Rudolph is my hero of life.
Really, she is. I will, if Mary Rudolph read the phone book, I'm in. Like,
Yeah,
I would watch
it would be hilarious. She's
hilarious.
so funny
So
at all times.
at all times. Did you see they did a table read?
Yes, I
During the
did. I
So good.
did.
Just see how everybody was just like, I'm not worthy. Everything in my
Yeah.
said, they were all like,
Yeah, no, absolutely. The rest of the cast, yeah, Nick Kroll and John Mulaney and everybody else, yeah, they loved it so
love
much. Love it. Love it. Better
it. So
Things
I
is
love
on Better Things is an FX series. Better
is it.
Things is an FX series that's also available on Hulu.
Thank you.
Sure.
Excellent. Good reporting, Sarah.
Thank
And
God
then
I have a laptop.
all those guys, I've seen those guys from Big Mouth perform live back in the day when they used to perform in New York. And I even got to perform with Jason Mantzoukas once. I got in front of the audience and performed. And in fact, little known story, strange connections. Chris Gethard, who's in
Yep.
that show, but he's another actor, improviser. He carried my demi cup lace, cinnamon scented lace bra across the country in an RV to Jason Mantzoukas. So you'll have to take me out to drinks.
For the why? Well, I've never heard of a scented bra. Is that something you have a lot of? Is that a thing?
You can make your own bra.
Oh, sure. No,
but
I could spray perfume on a bra. That's true, I guess.
I was about to send it across the country, so I put scent on it.
Okay, gotcha. You would not believe how much in my house we talk about Jason Mantzoukas.
Really?
It's like, yeah, because he's on Comedy Bang Bang all the time, which is one of my husband's and my favorite podcasts. And so when we catch him in anything, as soon as he's a guest voice on something, we're like, it's Mantzoukas. We call him Mantzoukas. He's not our friend. We don't get to know him and call him that, but we do.
I love that. It's hilarious. Well, yeah, so he was doing a show. I can't remember her name. This is another favorite show that I like that I haven't been watching because I saw them all except for the last episode, and I love it so much I won't watch the last episode.
Okay.
Don't want it to be over. Lennon
Parnham.
Mm-hmm, and Jessica
St. Clair.
Mm-hmm. You are a comedy.
I'm a comedy nerd. Yeah, this is now that's also my favorite game. Like, because my husband, and it's just a way that we are perfectly lock and key, perfectly made for each other. He knows what people are from, but knows nobody's names. Right. Almost nobody except Mantzoukas. So he'll and Paul F. Tompkins. So he'll go, she was in this episode, and I go, and then I get it, and I if I can't come up with it, I get real hot. We're very worried about it. It's my favorite thing. Okay, so sorry. Lennon Parnham and Jessica St. Clair.
They were in a show called Playing House.
Okay.
I bet you $1 Mantzoukas was in that one. Buddies, and I'm pretty sure his name will come to me in a second. They're great comedians and improvisers in that show. And really just as an improviser who improvises with other women a lot, you could just, they have improvised together forever, and you could see their connection and their best friends in real life. And to me, it just made me feel it's like me hanging out with my comedy girlfriends. It just felt so good to watch that. So Mantzoukas did a 2-person improv show with Jessica St. Clair. She couldn't be there at the Del Close Marathon, which are 3 days of constant improv that they used to do at Upright Citizens Brigade Theater. May it rest in peace.
I know.
No, tragic. So she wasn't there. So he's like, oh, I'll pick this. And this is way before I had my theater, or I was just a random dork in the audience. He's like, and it was called First Date. They went on a first date together. And he goes, who wants to go with me? And I raised my hand, and he picked me, and I got to come on the stage and do the show with him. And then it was so much fun. And then I'm a good stalker and a good reporter. So I found it. I emailed him and was just thank you. That was so much fun. And then 6 months later, he emailed me and he said, somebody was just asking me what the most fun improv show I did all year long. And it was that show you and I did together.
Cool.
And then we ended up being pen pals for quite a while. But that first thing was the nicest thing that he said to me. Gotcha.
So we won't delve into that here. But
no.
Maybe sometime after the pandemic we can.
Yeah.
After the pandemic. Things are never going to be the same, but all right. So I want to do one more thing before I let you go, and that is I want to sponsor 2 attendees of your remote workshop that's this Saturday at 7 p.m., the Let's Get Happier Habits and Practices for Prioritizing Happiness workshop. So I'm going to say it here, and then I'll post it in captions when I post this online places. But the first 2 people, or 1 person with a +1, who email me at my work email, which is sladuke@wamc.org. And I would hold it up, except I don't know how to make it not backwards. And I didn't write it out backwards before this. That I could have done and should have. But it's my first initial and my last name, sladuke@wamc.org. And the first 2 people that want to do your workshop, I'll personally sponsor them. I'll pay for them to attend, because Crash is tight, and I don't know. It seems really, really wonderful. So I want to do that if that's cool with you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And if no one takes advantage of it, you should just come.
Maybe 7 p.m. Saturday. Do I have another video thing? I mean, I don't, but then I suddenly do. I'm on a Zoom with my sister and my niece, and then someone's like, do you want to Zoom? And I'm like, yeah, I got it, but I'm talking to them.
Yeah.
having friends, so it's a real bummer. No,
Well,
it's wonderful.
I did it on a Saturday night because I wanted us to have, like, I wanted people to have plans for a Saturday night.
Yes, no, that's great. That is great. One of the first weeks in quarantine, a friend of mine messaged us like, Monday is my husband's birthday. Can you guys all get on a thing? And there were like 25 people on that call. So, I mean, it definitely works.
Yeah. And
Pam, you're the bomb. Sorry, go ahead.
Yesterday, I got on a call with a bunch of women I went to Smith with, and we all lived in the same house and graduated the same year. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's really good. Pam Victor is the head of happiness, happiervalley.com for more information. This video will be here for 24 hours. And then but as soon as I can, which it takes a long time to get like a half-hour video on YouTube, but as soon as I can, I will get it up there. And it'll be there for, I don't plan to take it down. Pam, you are the bomb. Thank you so much for spreading happiness all over the region and all over the world. And it was really super cool to catch up with you.
My pleasure. And come make the trip over to Happier Valley Comedy when we get back to real life.
I definitely will. Will. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Once again, happiervalley.com. And if you would like to attend the Saturday 7 p.m. personal growth remote workshop, Let's Get Happier, Habits and Practices for Prioritizing Happiness, I'm going to sponsor 2 people to attend that just personally because it seems like it'd be like really excellent, like very fantastic. And if you're interested in it, I would like to help. So this will be in our story, like I just told Pam, and then it will be on YouTube sometime tonight probably is usually when I get it on there. Thank you for joining me. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we're talking to Sam Anderson about his profile of Weird Al. And then also tomorrow, I'll tell you who's coming up next week. I have to like write it up in a way that's not just check marks and dots and dashes and confusing. So thank you very much for joining. Thanks for watching later if you're watching later, and stay safe in there.